Hi everyone, this is James Taliento, and I haven't made a video tutorial in a while, so please excuse me if I'm a little rusty. I recently came across a post on the Alien Vault LinkedIn group where a gentleman was asking for a reference to install Alien Vault OSSIM with VirtualBox. So this is going to be very straightforward. If you're a VirtualBox aficionado, then this won't be a problem for you. But for those of you who are in fact looking for a reference, I hope that this video will serve as that purpose. Okay, so I'm not going to go into how you can go about installing and updating VirtualBox. That's not the purpose of this tutorial. So without further ado, we're going to start off by downloading OSSIM. So what you want to do is you want to go to alienvault.com/free-downloads-services, and you'll see over here they have a couple of downloads available. Over here is open source OSSIM, and you want to download the ISO. I've already done this. It takes a couple of minutes to download. And then once you have that going, you can start setting up your virtual machine. So I'm going to go against the recommended guidelines here just because I'm doing this on a laptop. But I'll definitely list out which requirements you should have. So I'm going to create a new VM, and we'll just name it OSSIM. Linux, and it's 64-bit. I'll just go other Linux. You should at a minimum have about 4 gigs of memory. For this, I'm just going to do 2. Storage space, I'm going to set it to 12 just for the purposes of this video again, but you should have about 500 gigs. Or at least in a production environment, 500 gigs. Okay, so let's get that going. Now the next thing here is you need to go to settings and configure the network adapter. So you don't want it on NAT, you want it on bridged. Now I have it set to Wi-Fi, but in your case you're probably going to want it on Ethernet. There's 2 ways of going about this. Most people will do 2 adapters on their OSSIM machine. The first adapter will be for management, and the second would be as a for port mirroring. So in this case, with VirtualBox, you would go to adapter 2, enable, and then you would just select the second adapter. But that's not going to happen here. All right. So let's fire this up. It should ask for the ISO. And there we go. Now the installation is very straightforward. It's going to ask me for, okay, this is not a sensor. So we want to install OSSIM 4.14. English, United States. And you choose just the settings that apply to you. Now you are going to need to have an IP address handy, your subnet, your default gateway, and that should be about it to get you going. And then you got to just select the password. Let me just minimize this, make this a little clearer. Okay, so for my IP address, and this only applies to my network. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click continue. This is my subnet. It automatically populated that. If you need to change it, please go ahead and do so. Alright, that's my default gateway. And I'll use this as my name server address. Alright, it's going to ask you to set a password. And then everything else is kind of magically happening behind the scenes here. So when all is said and done here, it should reboot, and you should have a prompt that looks like this running in your VM. You'll notice up here, you'll see in the like magenta color, you have a web address, and that's your static IP address, and that's how you can get to the web interface. So let's go ahead and just make sure that that's working. Okay. Okay, untrusted connection. Let's add the exception. And here we go. We have the registration form. So keep in mind, this is there's no configuration here. You'll have to configure and customize the product to meet your requirements and the requirements of your environment. So good luck, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.